Hail Kingdom, welcome to Pass of Excel 2, the third edict, and you're probably being scammed, or maybe it's just a knowledge gap in Pass of Excel 2 right now. So I got idea for this video based on my latest comments, especially on my crafting videos and build videos. People don't understand where the damage coming from, and I even was accused of clickbaiting because I was told my quality stuff is actually like garbage. I show how to craft garbage, not really good stuff. So before we begin this topic, it's actually pretty interesting. I want you to test yourself. I got 4 quarter stuffs over here, and I will pull them up over here, and actually with the magic of editing you should see all 4 on the screen right now. So the question, which quarter stuff will give me best DPS on my ice strike, which converts 80% of physical damage to cold damage? Well, I hope you made your guesses, and these quarter stuffs right now in the same orders from left to right. You definitely guessed that quarter stuff with 175 DPS, and that's the DPS which will be on a trade market. So when you're looking for quarter stuff, I don't know, but I just assume you're checking quarter stuffs and you're just searching for high DPS, and then okay, let's take this. It's high DPS, it should work. Yes, well, yes, that's how you get scammed. So this one is like lowest DPS, 175. It should be complete garbage. To make it similar, I got all of them with +6 level to all attack skills, so on this behalf they are basically the same. And probably you guessed that biggest, like most powerful quarter stuff is one of this one. So this one got 772 DPS, this one will have 766. But now don't pause video and just try to guess. For example, this one, 772, should be a little bit higher than 766 DPS, yeah? This one will give me 68k right now, but if I change it to this one, well, it's 78k DPS. It's like 20% better. It's 20% better. Okay, this was like a fun comparison. If your brain is melting right now, just look over here. So we got 67k DPS on quarter stuff with 800 DPS. How much DPS we will get from 175 DPS total? Probably like 10k. Yeah, try to guess like 10k, maybe 20k. Try to write it in comments right now. Well, yo, this quarter stuff will have like 20k DPS. Now let's drop it. Pow, 58. Yes, it's lower, but lower just by like 5%. So based on DPS, this quarter stuff is like 5 times worse. It should have like 10k DPS on a tooltip, yes? Yes, but like it's not, and I will explain you why. But first of all, again, if you guessed that this quarter stuff is actually the best one, that got 485 DPS on a trade market, and if we compare it to the highest DPS I got right now, well, now it's 88k right now, yes, which is completely crazy. So, and that's like biggest misconception players have. And if you think guys on PoE Ninja, like who is top players, know something, well, let's see. It's level 98 Invoker. Level 98 is a long time. He should know something about this game, yes? He got Heavy Hunter, gloves with talismans that cost like 10 divines each. So he's pretty juiced guy. He got some like critical hit build, he doing hollow palm, he's pretty cool, but he using freeze on Herald of Ice. And if you don't know, Herald of Ice is a payoff skill. So payoff skill means the skill cannot interact with debuff it interacting with. For example, Herald of Ice can't interact with freeze basically, he can't freeze enemies. In some interactions, you actually can freeze enemies, in some, but most of the time no. And if you're wondering why I picked exactly this monk, not like another one, maybe that's the only one like dude who don't know how Herald works, well, no, just take a look over here. These guys got like premium quality, they got insane amount of hours in the game, like items just costs insane amount of divines, and they got freeze on Herald of Ice. If you know what's going on, maybe you can like enlighten me, try to enlighten me. I may believe only this guy who is using frozen spites on Herald of Ice, so probably frozen spites can create this ice fragments after killing frozen enemies, and then the spites can freeze enemies more. So maybe this combination can work. But if you just drop freeze on Herald of Ice, it's not how it's working. Yeah. So I just pulled out all invokers who are using freeze on Herald of Ice, and as you can see, there's lots of them. And that's why real mirror tier items like this quarter stuff, for example, is so secret. No one knows, not a lot of players knows how much they worth actually. They are insanely cool. It's one of the best like elemental weapons you can make, and I will make a new crafting video soon. But anyway, what is knowledge gap? Why it works exactly like this? and why you should not look at DPS? Well, first of all, I would say Pacific Exile 2 is still a work in progress. Therefore, again, all websites and all the stuff taking some mass behind and giving you output based on some formulas. So why does this code stuff have high DPS? Well, it calculates pretty easily. So first of all, there's physical and elemental DPS, and everyone asking me what overlay I'm using, and it's PoE overlay 2. That's it. That's the name. Anyway, so we get physical DPS and we get elemental DPS. Physical DPS based on our basic numbers on weapon. So for this weapon, it's 183 minimum, 288 maximum. Okay, I just realized we need paint. We need paint for this. So this damage goes, it's 240 average. It's average between 180 and 280. Then we get critical hit chance, 10%. This means we're basically multiplying average of this 10 times, and that's what we get, 2.4k. That's 10 attacks. But one of these 10 attacks will actually crit for double damage. So it's 2.4k minus 240, it's 2k and 160 damage, and we're adding double damage. So critical hit is basically double damage in these calculations right now. So it's plus 480, and we get 2k and 640 damage. So that's critical hit chance plus physical damage. Again, we divide it by 10 and we got 264 average damage right now with adding addition of critical hit chance. Now we're using attacks per second, yeah. So we're not only dealing like 10 attacks and calculating critical hit chance, we're also doing more than one attack every second. And DPS is damage per second, so how many attacks you can do per second? Well, you can do 1.74. And by multiplying this number by 1.74, that's actually where this DPS will be calculated. So it's 410 DPS. So we get it after calculating our physical damage, critical hit chance, and attacks per second together. That's what you see on a trade site. Then we got elemental DPS. Well, elemental DPS comes from our elemental damage, so it's written over here, and you will see it exactly like in this place. So that's the place where you see it. So in prefix basically, and it's lightning damage and cold damage. It basically combines these numbers, and also it's multiplying it by attacks per second, and that's where we got 362. So that's where we got it. Then we're combining these numbers together, and that's our DPS. So that's how it works. And if you just take a look over here, it's pretty simple formula, and it will work for weapons with damage, attack speed, maybe critical hit chance, maybe critical damage bonus. I haven't tested it yet. But why this quota stuff is so good? And why this quota stuff got 175 DPS? Well, at the same time outputting almost same DPS as 700 DPS weapon. I just told you how it calculates. So physical damage with critical hit chance with attacks per second. Same goes for elemental damage, and we got only cold damage, which is pretty low, with attacks per second. And these numbers combined will give us DPS. So that's it. That's our DPS. Okie dokie. Here's the fun part, like I will show you, since I don't care. Let's just drop stun build up runes over here. Yeah, boys, we got it. We got it. So this quota stuff right now will have 100 DPS. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was fun. Again, just to show you how these calculations work. But that's not how our skills work. So our skills actually taking this damage and then doing some conversions, and multiplications based on all other stuff. And while you can read it, for example, that Ice Strike will convert 80% of physical damage to cold damage. Conversion is basically changing your damage type and changing how you scale your damage. Here's the fun part. You're converting 80% of physical damage to cold damage. It doesn't mean that you won't be scaling your damage with physical damage, so actually you can like scale physical damage on top, because you're still dealing 80% of physical damage with this like skill, 20% of physical damage, but 80% damage will be converted to cold damage. This cold damage will be scaling with other factors that scales cold damage, and scaling is what matters in the game, actually, how you get loads of DPS. So just by reading tooltip and not diving deeper, you think, oh, to have most powerful outcome of this weapon, I need insanely high physical damage, because it will be converted to cold damage. And it would be true if we don't have like other ways how we can scale damage. That's actually what you see on this quarterstaff. And that's what can't be calculated in this calculator, because it's not affecting numbers over here on the tooltip. And even if it would affect numbers on the tooltip, it won't actually make a large difference, because there's two types of modificators on weapons and on items basically in PoE 2. So it's probably even on the market right now. They just added it. So you see, there is attack speed local and attack speed not local. If I search for weapons with attack speed local, for quarterstaffs by the way, we will see quarterstaffs with increased attack speed. But if we search for quarterstaffs with just increased attack speed, there is none of them. But there is lots of gloves, keywords and all other stuff. And you just can't see it on the trade side. You don't know if this attack speed is local or not. But if you understand how game works, well, you will know. So local attack speed will actually be shown over here in attacks per second. So if we get attack speed on this quarterstaff, I probably got it on one of this. Yeah, you see, I got 25% increased attack speed. So it's increasing attack speed by 25%, but it's increasing this attack speed. So normal attack speed for this quarterstaff is 1.4. So 1.4 attacks per second. Multiplied by 25%, I mean add 25% to it, well, you will have 1.75. And that's called a local multiplier. And same goes for critical hit chance, for example. It's not critical hit chance for like your wall multipliers, it's critical hit chance for weapon. And that's what local multipliers look like. But some multipliers is actually not local. For example, this gain damage, this increased damage and increased elemental damage is not local multipliers. It's global multipliers. Yeah, global is the right word, I guess. And that's like biggest knowledge gap. And this gap technically can't be abused, but it's kinda abused. Exactly as I showed you. A lot of players don't understand it. And basically, like you checking on this items on the trade website and you think you're getting upgrade, but well, no. You're getting trash item, and the miracle item was with 175 DPS. It was like mirror tier item. So what these multipliers do? They taking your cold damage, your elemental damage, in this case elemental damage, and they actually like adding this damage on top. And that's why these modifiers on weapons are so powerful, because this increased elemental damage with attacks, increased or just extra damage as cold damage, increased cold damage is actually multipliers for all my equipment. So for example, I got a ring with like what ring I got? That's the ring. So we get a little bit of fire damage, a little bit of cold damage, and what is the color for lightning? Let's took yellow. So average fire damage will be like 15, average cold damage is like 35, it doesn't matter too much, and lightning will be 45. Okay, it's fixed right now. All this damage is actually elemental damage. And how much elemental damage we got on my ring? Just one ring. We got around 100. So 100 elemental damage on my ring. Now this increased elemental damage will increase all this damage by 120%. So actually now this ring giving me not 100 DPS, like elemental DPS, it's giving me 220 DPS. So next one. Gain damage as extra cold damage. I don't know right now, I need to investigate a little bit more, but I don't know when it happens. It happens before increased elemental damage or after. So if it happens before or after, it doesn't matter too much, but basically how it works. Let's say it happens after. So if it happens after, this means all of this damage, I will get 27% of this as cold damage. So let's say it's plus 60 cold damage. So this means on top of this, I'm getting like 60 extra damage as cold damage, plus 60 cold damage. But let's not forget, we get this 35 over here as part of 220, but it's not 35 because it's increased by like 120%, so it's around 80 cold damage. So it's 80 cold damage in this 220 plus 60. And here's the fun part, this cold damage will be increased. It will be increased by this suffix over here, increased cold damage. So this will be increased, this will be increased by, again, almost by 100%. So we got like 160 over here, so it's basically like plus 80, and this is doubled. So technically it's plus 120. Now that's the real elemental damage that I got from this ring, and in reality this elemental damage is 400 elemental damage because of this part over here, because of this part, because of this part. Basically, this part gives me loads and loads and loads of damage on top. And again, here's the fun part. Based on how skill works, yes, it's converting your physical damage to cold damage, but it doesn't mean you deal no other damage. So yes, as you can see, you're dealing fire damage, you're dealing cold damage, lightning, chaos damage even, like, and all of this damage combined into main hand total damage. So again, by adding loads of cold damage from different sources, I actually created just insanely overpowered and broken quality stuff. And here on paper it looks like garbage. This looks like complete garbage. It's like 100 DPS, come on. But in reality it's just super OP stuff. So it's just super OP weapons. Now, I told you you're being scammed, and that's basically how not to get scammed when you're buying stuff, and I will show you a bunch of extras, like funny stuff. If you like these deep dives, by the way, I probably will make damage guide soon, how damages are actually working in Path of Exile 2. So if you're interested, leave a comment, please, so I know, like, topic got some interest. Since I'm trying to make, like, not just basic educational stuff, some funny stuff, but this stuff is just, it's just important. So I was forced to make this video. I see loads of questions like, why this stuff is not working? And that's again how you're being scammed. Basically, this means to find a really good weapon, you need to not look for DPS. You need to not look for like other random stuff. You actually need to look for stuff that makes sense for your build. And I'm telling you exactly this. It should make sense for your build. If got a stuff with 0% critical hit chance, like, doesn't make sense for your build, well, you don't need to waste a mirror for this. It looks cool, it got best DPS on wall server, just super good, tier 1, everything. Guess what, it's probably garbage. I mean, it's fine, you can beat wall content with like 2000k DPS, of course, but you can craft this quota stuff for like 1 divine, maybe a little bit more, and it will be OP. Anyway, I promised you like other scams that you should be aware of. Scams with weapons basically goes exactly like this. It goes with DPS, so never look for weapons with DPS, please, on the market. I mean, not look for weapon with DPS, just don't ever sort by DPS. I'm sort by DPS only in one single instance, and I explained it in trading video, by the way. Basically, when you're leveling and you are level 40, you just entered Act 4 and you're looking for a weapon. So you're looking for a weapon with requirements of level 40 to 45. You will throw this weapon away in like 5 minutes. So just search for DPS. Of course, search for your budget, so pick 1 Exalt, for example, and go and buy this. That's it. Don't even read what's going on over here, it will be fine. You will beat this act easily. So it probably will be better than something in your hands. If you got a good one, yeah, you're just melting everything anyway. But when you're looking for exactly like good weapons, you need to understand what works for a build. And then you look for stuff that again works for a build. So for me, it's a lot better to have added cold damage to attacks. Why? Why should I have like added cold damage to attacks when I can have like insane physical damage? Well, because all my passive tree is actually built around idea of dealing elemental damage. So this stuff will increase elemental damage. It won't increase my like physical damage a lot. Therefore, just having loads of elemental damage on your weapon without scaling too much of physical damage will give you like insane amount of DPS just from these nodes alone. But if you're playing with physical weapon and it's not tier 1 affixes, probably it won't be better. In most cases. So we're looking for cool cold damage and elemental damage with attacks. And just try to estimate what tier 2 rolls will be. Then we add another stat group for suffixes, and in suffixes we're looking for level of all attack skills, because it's just best in slot stuff you can get, attack speed local, because why not, leeching physical damage as mana is also great, so we kinda got an option over here. It will have also a lot of extra lightning damage, and it goes for like 10 exalted orbs right now. And DPS is not perfect, it's just mediocre DPS, I would say, pretty much like mediocre, 453. Guess what, let's just buy it for fun, just for fun, and see how much like better or worse it is. So we got 88k right now, pow, 78, 10 exalted orbs for my build right now. 10 exalted orbs. Just looking for good stuff. I'm looking for stuff that makes sense for my build. and 78 is just 20% better. 20% better than this one. And guess what? This quarterstaffs with like 700 DPS can go for maybe like 80 exalted orbs, 1 divine orb. Probably someone will buy it. Just for fun for this video, I actually bought it. I was searching for quarterstaff for this video exactly to showcase you how dumb it is and actually how to like scale your damage. So this cost me, I don't know, maybe like 50 exalts, maybe 60. I was looking for 100 or less exalted orbs. So I will try to sell it for 50. It doesn't matter too much. But again, that's basically how it works. On paper, this quarterstaff is just garbage. In reality, it's almost best in slot for any elemental damage build. That's it. And we can fix runes. It can actually like be a lot better. 10 damage as extra damage for all elements. It's cool, but it's too mixed. So again, basic runes for cold damage, just 15 cold damage. And for my build, look, one rune should not add like a lot, but pow, it adds 2k damage. And it's probably is better than this one. No, it's not, by the way. This is like 5% of all element damage is actually pretty good. So 3 of them will be just great. Probably what I will do for like my quarterstaff, it got cold damage right now, but it's a better cold damage. I just trashed rune that costs 120 exalted orbs, by the way. So if you're looking at this video and you want this quarterstaff, just for fun, I dropped it for 50 exalted orbs. Probably someone already will buy it. Who knows who needs this quarterstaff, but anyway. How damage works? So we're getting extra damage of all elements, and instead of cold damage rune, pow, yeah, that's the power, that's the power. I will probably wow this stuff. Oh my goodness. I don't have even amulet right now. Amulet gives like plus 40% of damage, so I will be at 140 soon. And that's just crazy. But we're going into another scam. Yeah, there's one more. So you're probably looking for best rings in the game, definitely for breach rings. And when you're looking for breach rings, it's like super common scam. And it's actually not always a scam, but people just don't know how it works probably. So let's see breach ring with tier 1 lightning damage. So this goes for 25 divine orbs. And probably that's like not a bad ring. But what you want to see on the rings, and again, this works for weapons also, quality. Quality adds a lot of like extra damage on top. So when you're looking for weapons, yeah, sorry, I'm all over the place. But basically when you're looking for weapons and you're looking for DPS, try to look for weapons with 0 quality. There's filters for it, by the way. So when you found some good weapon, for example, this quarterstaff with 1.2k damage, DPS by the way, which is completely irrelevant, but again, here's filter, and you can remove item quality. And over here, it doesn't work for some reason, but it works on a website. So if someone from GG watching, just I found a little bug. And we're looking for quarterstaffs with zero quality basically. Now with 0 quality, we can find quarterstaffs with 1.2k DPS. And guess what? They have roughly like the same prices, but some of them extremely cheap. For example, this quarterstaff got 1k DPS and it got pretty good rolls, and it still got open suffixes, so we can roll like critical hit chance for even more DPS. But even without DPS, if you just slam 20% quality on top, you will increase DPS by around 20%. This means this quarterstaff should have 1.2k DPS. Guess what? This quarterstaff got 1.2k DPS. And it could be a quarterstaff with high DPS. And again, it costs 160 divine orbs right now. No one will buy it, it's trash, but anyway, this costs like 15 divine orbs. So just add quality on 15 divine orbs and you will get quarterstaff with 160 divine orb. Guess what? No one buying this, of course, it's just garbage. But some of this, like 15 divine orb quarterstaffs, it's basically copies of quarterstaffs for 50 divine orbs. So I'm searching just for 50 divine orbs quarterstaffs, and look at this garbage. This garbage got 20% quality, and it's got dexterity and stun build up. So as I told you, it's basically copy of previous quarterstaff, but with slammed quality. Again and again and again, it's just garbage, garbage and garbage, and it goes for 50 divine orbs. I just hope no one buying this, but I guess someone would. I guess someone will just try to decide, should I spend my 50 divines on Headhunter or maybe new quarterstaff? Well, you should spend your time by subscribing to me and learning how to craft this quarterstaff for like few divine orbs, and then buy Headhunter because it's so much fun. And most important stuff in the game is to have fun. Okay, since game doesn't work with quality again, we will get back to the scam with breach rings, and we're looking for ring adds to lightning damage to attacks. Just random common stuff. So let's see. This tier 1 lightning damage roll right now for 40 divine orbs. Okay, pretty good. I mean, this is okay shrink. It can cost like 30 divine orbs, maybe. I'm not telling you it's like a bad one, but let's remove garbage from it. Let's just remove garbage like accuracy, increased rarity of items. It's not garbage for a lot of people, but I guess it's garbage. So we will take bottom part. Intelligence, fire resistance, chaos resistance. And it should have like 20 intelligence. So basically we're looking for the same ring. Now guess what, there's 90 rings, exactly the same as the previous one. And that's the previous one, 40 divine orbs. But if we remove quality from equation by pressing 0 over here, we'll find 57 rings. And guess what? If I just search for highest lightning damage to attacks ring right now, so it's tier 1 roll, it's basically 4 to 69, so it's like highest tier like roll possible. This item over here will have better intelligence, better fire resistance, or almost the same chaos resistance. Also it will have rarity, it will have mana instead of accuracy. It's better for one guys, worse for another, but it doesn't matter. Price is 22 divine orbs. Guess what? Let's just jump down a little bit. This one goes for 5 divine orbs. 5. And you may argue, well, Spot, it got 69 lightning damage to attacks. The previous best one got 100 lightning damage to attacks, but it's a scam because it's quality 40. Actually, this one is 45, so it's sanctified. It's basically like a little bit better than 40. It's cool and fun. But this one is 40, so it's just corrupted and it's a scam again. This one, by the way, is not really bad. It's pretty cool ring. Someone bought me something similar for like 20 divines, 25 maybe. Anyway, so idea is simple. Basically, if you're looking for items without quality, you can make roughly the same item just by slamming lightning modifiers on top. So if you don't know how it works, well, if you ever like played endgame, and you probably already played if you're looking for breach rings, well, it's catalysts from breach, and you can use these catalysts to augment modifiers. So if your ring got a bunch of attack modifiers, which is this damage to attacks, all attacks modifiers, by slamming attacks modifiers on top, I'm making them higher. So tier 6 fire damage roll, which is normally probably 1 to like 6 fire damage, is just garbage modifier. Right now looks okay-ish. And that's basically how it works. And yes, you need to slam a little bit less than 40, so it will cost you like 100 exalted orbs, maybe 120 exalted orbs to slam all of them if you're looking for lightning modifiers. So yes, they cost a little bit, but definitely not 20 divine orbs. Well, it was fun. It was fun topic. I hope you enjoyed it. And if this video will get some views, I got more for you. I got more scams and crazy stuff, how to understand passive exile better, and how to have fun, I hope. Because maybe I saved you a bunch of divines